Hello wonderful people, it's Wild here. Today I'll be showing you how to build this simple cherry blossom cottage. This build is super easy to create and it looks absolutely stunning, so let's get creating. The materials you'll need for this build are on your screen now. Keep in mind I'll also be showing you some variations, switching out some blocks at the end. Here is the outline for our cherry cottage. You can see that the main length of the back wall, excluding the bay window, is 17 blocks, and then the width of the build at its widest point comes to 13 blocks. We've got our door at the front in that cutout part of the rectangle. I'm first going to work on the foundation of this build. Now I'll just be using stone bricks here, but you could mix in some mossy and cracked stone bricks as well. You can see I'm starting by coming to this bay window section, and where we have our first diagonal block, I'm building 3 blocks back. I'll then build 2 blocks to create a shape like this. Then I'm going to go 2 blocks deep all the way around the outline using my stone bricks, like this. So I'm placing it on the outline as well as 1 block in. When I come around to this side, I'm going to leave out this block where our chimney is going to sit and just continue around. There we go. So you should have a stone brick border like this. Then I'm going to switch to some stripped dark oak logs to create my floorboards. Now you can use whatever flooring block you like, but I like the way the stripped dark oak logs have a larger plank texture. For this first section of the build, I'm going to have them facing this way. Then to provide a little bit of separation between the 2 rooms of the build, I'm going to switch to placing them in the opposite direction for the other part of the build, and I'll fill in the area where we have our bay window as well. Oh, this one needs to switch, and there we go. It should look like that. Now I'm going to grab some cherry logs, and I'm going to start by placing a 5-high post, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, in each of the corners around the build. You can see I'm doing this 1 block in, so on the inner layer of the stone brick, diagonally out from the floor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Come over this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm also going to place in a post here and opposite it on the back wall, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you should be left with a 5 wide section here and then a larger section on the other side. This one should be 7 blocks. I'm also going to place 1 more post on this side so that we have a 3 wide gap and then a 5 wide gap. Now that we've got all of our posts in, I'm going to switch to some stripped cherry logs. I'm going to go all the way around this build, connecting them up. I'll leave a gap here for our doorway. When we come to the bay window, I'm just going to build 2 in on either side and then follow around this outline, placing them facing upright this time, and then continue on, joining up all these posts. I'll also be using some more of the cherry logs to join up the posts at the top. For this, I'll just go straight across the top of where our bay window is. And while I'm at it, I'm going to add in a few beams which will be visible from the interior like this. Now we're going to start filling in the walls. I'm going to start by placing in my door, and I'm clicking on the stone brick here. I'm then going to use a temporary block so I can place a cherry log facing forward above the door. Now we're going to go in with our windows. The first window is 2 blocks high and spaced 2 blocks away from the door. We have a 3 block wide one here, a 3 block wide one here, and 1 at the back as well. And then we have 2 windows on this widest back wall, and they're spaced 3 apart. Then of course we have our bay window, but we'll be dealing with that later. Now you could use either jungle, cherry or birch planks, so you can fill in with your choice of a wall. I'm going to go with the jungle wood, and I'll show you all 3 at the end. I'll come to this bay window wall and I'm going to build up 3 high on top of here and then across the back, just filling in most of the wall there. While we're at it, let's set in the walls for the gables. I'm going to start by building 5 across on this kind of longest wall here. Then I'll build my window in, which is 2 blocks high. And then I'm going to add in blocks so I can go up in layers of 2. So we've got 2, 2, and 2. I'll do that on both sides of the wall. Like that. Then for this shorter section of the build, I'm just going to go up in a 1 high section like this. Before we put the roof on top, let's add in our chimneys. We've got 2 on this build. One is coming from the ground here and the next one will be coming out of the roof at the back. Let's add in the one at the ground first. I'm going to start by placing in a chiseled stone brick. Then behind that I'll add in a layer of stone brick. And then I've got 2 stairs coming up like this. I'll build up 2 high behind here and 1 high beside it and then place in some stairs. I've got 1 facing to the side and 1 facing up like that. I'll go 1 higher to connect up to where our roof is, and then I have 2 stairs over here like this. Now with chimneys, if yours isn't exactly the same as mine, that's fine. You just want to be aiming for this curvy shape where it gets narrower at the top. Moving up on the chimney now, I'm going to start by placing in 2 stone bricks on these logs. Then I'm going to build up 2 high just on this further back one and place 2 stairs off of that. I'll also build up 2 high with some stone brick walls on the lower 2. I'll add 2 more stone bricks on top of this, and this is where we'll have our first campfire, and I'll surround 3 sides with some cherry trapdoors like that. The last part of this chimney, I'm going to come back round so I'm inside the build. I'll skip this first block and build up to the same height and then add 4 more on top of that. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to place a campfire on top of here and let me get these blocks to render in. Now that we can see what we're doing, I'll place in some cherry trapdoors all the way around on this one. And the reason why we don't have this connecting up to anything is the roof is going to follow along the shape of this chimney. So we're putting it in before the roof so we don't have to break the roof later. Let's move over to this one at the back now. For this next chimney, I'm going to count 2 blocks in, and on my 3rd block, I'll go across 2. I'm going to build up another 3 high on both of these blocks and then 2 high on the one closest to the gable. I can then place in some stairs like this, and then we've got 3 stone brick walls here, and then 4 coming up so they just overlap by 1, which is 2 blocks above the base. I'm going to come inside the build now, and I'll build 3 blocks down like this. I'm going to place a stair on top of that block, and another stair upside down behind it. I'll then place 2 stone bricks going up from here. We've got a stone brick upside down here and 4 on top. 1, 2, 3, 4. Our campfires are going to go on top of these 2 blocks, and I'll surround all of the sides that are visible on the campfire with a trapdoor. So if we take a step back, our chimney should look like this. Right now it's terribly unsupportive, but the roof will be going under and around it. Speaking of the roof, let's get putting that in now. I've got some cherry logs and I'm going to come out like this from the posts wherever we have a roof. I'll also come out 2 blocks from the top of each gable. Next, I'm going to go in with some diorite. I'm going to be creating the outline for all these roofs. Starting with some stairs, I'm going to just follow my way along this outline, coming right up till the top. Got one facing upwards like this. And you can see as I'm doing this, I'm placing stairs underneath as well. This gives it a more finished look. I'm going to come along, and when I get to here where we're joining up to this next roof, I'm going to rotate my stair around. Then we're going to make our way up, but for this we're going to be needing some blocks as well as the stairs. So I'm just following along this pattern using the gable shape as our guide. For this pointy roof, I'll build up 2 blocks and place a stair. Then make my way back down. Now since this corner joins right onto the next roof at the back, I'm going to be placing a block instead of a stair in here. Then like before, I'll just zigzag up with my stairs. Wrap around my stair to join our roofs and back over to this side. So we've got the diorite outline all the way around the roof, and this is going to make it a lot easier to put in the cherry roof part. For the cherry section of the roof, you'll need blocks, stairs and slabs, and we're just going to start by working from this side and moving around the build. So when we come to a join in the roof, you just want to switch over to the other roof line and see how they join up like this. On the next one, we bring our stairs along, and the next layer on the larger roof is a row of stairs, so we can continue those around. Then we have a row of the cherry planks again here. And if we look over on this smaller roof, we have stairs, so we'll bring them along and use a block to join them. Then for this smaller roof, we're going to finish off with a row of slabs. Then I'll join it up to the stairs of the larger roof. Once I get to this point here, I find it easier to switch over to the other joining section, so I'll come over here and start working on that. Of course, you want to make sure you get in and behind the chimneys, so I'm holding shift so I can hang over the edge to place in that stair. I also want to make sure I fill in this section, so we've got a block going in here with a stair on top. Then we've got a block coming in here with a stair on top again, and I'll bring these along and just move back and forth between the 2 roofs until everything's connected and we don't have a hole in the roof. I'll bring my stair along here. We can see that we've got to join that up to these blocks, so I'll place in my blocks. And that means this final section is going to be filled in with a stair, which I'm going to place on a corner like this so it connects up to the chimney. I'm going to move to the back side of the build now to fill in this gap. So here we've got a stair joining into a block, so I'll place in a block. Then we've got some stairs wrapping around here, some blocks coming back, a slab, and we're connecting up to our stairs. Moving on to this side, this is going to join into the block, so I'll run this along there. Going with my stairs next. Then we've got some stairs joining into another row of blocks. And once again, I'm making sure I'm going behind the chimney to fill in the whole roof. Then we've got a row of stairs. And we've finished all the joining sections of the roof now, so it's pretty straightforward. We're just going to go across with our blocks. And then with our stairs. For the very top layer of this roof, I'm going to come along with 1 layer of blocks. And then on either end, I want to create a swoop, so I'll place a block, a stair, and then 2 slabs. And you can see how it makes a nice swoopy shape on the top of the building. Let's go over and add in the bay window now. I'm going to build up 2 high with white stained glass all the way around like this. Then I'm going to place in some stairs. We've got 1 on either side coming off of these logs. I'll join across the top with some blocks of diorite, and then 3 over here. I'll then go in with some of these slabs like this and switch to some diorite walls. I'll place them around like that. I'm going to place fences on top of each, And then I'll use some cherry trapdoors on either side. So it should look like this, and there should be no gap between it and the build. I'm also going to be taking these diorite walls, and I'll be placing one at the top and bottom of all of the cherry wood posts. I'll then fill in the gap between them with some cherry fences. Let's add in the door decoration next. We'll place in 2 cherry fences with end rods on top, and then we'll create an archway. And you can see a bit of the log poking out beneath. For window decorations, let's do all these one wide ones. We'll place a stair, then a stripped cherry log, and then some end rods. Now, of course, if you don't have end rods, you could substitute this for some chains, or instead of having this central bar, you could place a pot here with a flower. That looks really pretty as well. So I'll do the same design on all of these ones. We've got the ones at the back as well as the ones on the 2 gables. And now let's decorate these larger 3 wide windows. I'm going to start by placing a cherry log in the center with the cherry stairs on either side. Then at the top I'll have a stripped cherry log with the stairs this time facing to create a point. I'm going to be placing my end rods in the center, and then I'm going to use some sort of temporary block. So this could be dirt. I've got pink wool, but anything will do. I'm going to go around the build and create this same shape on all of the windows. With this in place, we can then grab some cherry trapdoors. We're going to stack 2 on top of each other on the stair and the temporary block, so when we flip them it looks like this. And once you've got those trapdoors in, you can remove the temporary block. I'm going to be using some moss blocks to create some planters. I'm placing one underneath these small gables on top of the windows. And I'm just placing a trapdoor on the front side here. I'm also going to place a planter in each of the corners of the build. I've got one in this gap here. And continuing around in the corners. And then I also have a 2 wide one in this little section. Now that all the planters are in, I'm going to grab some hanging cherry signs. So I'm going to place them so that they have this bar here. Now you can go ahead and place them just like this, or if you can create a design on the signs. So I'm using a little heart design like this. So to create it on a computer, you hold down Alt and then press 3 on your number pad. And there we go, all my hearts in. I'm going to place some white dye on that and then a glow ink sac. Once you've got the design in Creative, you can copy it over and then place it across. But of course, if you can't place in the hearts, the signs look great by themselves. It's just an extra little detail. I'm going to have those going along here as well as underneath the larger gables. I'm going to hang some lanterns next. I'm hanging these one chain length down from each of the beams sticking out from the build. Let's move inside the build now to have a look at how we can lay out some rooms and build the fireplace. So I'm going to come over to where we have this chimney, where we have the outside part of the chimney as well, to create my first fireplace. So I'm placing in 2 chiseled stone brick. Then we've got stairs on top of that. I'll place a slab in the center and a campfire underneath. Then I'll build up 2 high with some stone brick walls and connect up the top to the roof with some bricks. For our next fireplace design, I'm going to come over to this section at the back of the build. I'll start by placing in a few of my dark oak slabs. Now this is the option I'm going with for my second floor, but you could use any block here. Then I'll place in some chiseled stone brick, a campfire in the center. We've got stairs and a slab, and then to finish it off, I'm placing a stair in here and then a stone brick above it. I'm going to add in a ladder to get up to my second story. However, you could use any method you'd like. A staircase could also be great, but a ladder is the most space efficient. I'll fill in the rest of the floor here with my slabs, and you'll notice that by using slabs, the beams stick out just a little bit, which really gives a great look. Don't forget in survival, you want to light up as you go. I'm going to place a few temporary torches in once I've got this floor. And I'll place some up here as well. Now, how you divide the space into rooms is entirely up to you. You can have it all as one big space or in many little spaces. But to divide this into rooms, I'm going to place a wall here, and you can see I'm following along the design of the walls for the exterior. So I've got my logs, then I've got my jungle planks, and I'm just creating a little doorway like that. We've got some finishing details to add outside, so let's come back out, and I'm going to add my stair up first before I go in with some more of the greenery. For this, I've just got 2 chiseled and then a stair in the center. Alright, I've added some finishing details to the build now, so let's check it out. You can see that I started by draping some of these azalea leaves over the roof. You could use any leaf, but adding some greenery to the roof helps to give it a more natural lived-in feel, and it really does make it feel like it's part of the biome. So I've placed mine in a plains biome, and then I purposefully planted some cherry trees to frame the build. I've also got lots of flowers here, so I've got these flower beds placed both around the build and then around my garden area. Now around the build, I've kept the garden beds to green and white because there's already pink in the build, so I really want that to be the showcase. But then for the garden beds in the garden itself, I've got the pinks and the purples as well to tie in with our house. You can see I've got a feature pond right here at the front, and I've kept the decorations relatively low so you can see the build as you walk up. Off to this side, I've got a little seating area, and then I've got lots of pot plants as well. You can see I've got them like this with the decorated pots and smaller pots, as well as some of these planters that match the ones on the build. If you want to get some more inspiration for decorating the exterior and interior of your build, make sure you check out the tutorials in the description. Now let's check out this build, switching out the jungle wood for some birch and cherry wood. So here's what it looks like replacing it with some cherry wood. You can see that it has a very beautiful pink feeling. There's slightly less contrast between the walls and the roof, but in a cherry biome like this, it really does look very pretty. And now let's look at it with some birch planks. This is another great color combination. It really does work really well, and you could use this variation of the build in perhaps a birch biome with some strategically planted cherry trees. So you can really see that with this build, whatever block you use for your walls, you're going to have something really beautiful. You could even experiment and use something like a mixture of white wool, white concrete powder and calcite. That would look fantastic too. Be sure to join my Discord and share some pictures of your house. I'd love to see what you end up going with. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, I'd really appreciate it if you could like and subscribe. And if you'd like to get some additional benefits, like a multi-world server access, as well as custom tutorials, make sure you check out my Patreon. See you later and happy building!